The envelope shakes in my hand as my father smiles across the courtroom like he's already won. "Your Honor, my daughter is not well," he says calmly. "This report will prove everything." I almost laugh because the report he's talking about isn't the one he thinks it is. My fingers tighten around the certified envelope I've been hiding for weeks. My heart is racing, but my voice comes out steady. "Actually," I say, standing up, "I think we should read mine first." His smile drops, just a little. That's when I know he has no idea what's coming. My name is Ava Reynolds. I'm 24, and I'm telling this because sometimes the people who destroy you the most are the ones who raised you. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, in a house that looked perfect from the outside. My dad was respected, clean image, always calm, always in control. People trusted him, believed him. And me? I was the difficult daughter. That's what he called me whenever I disagreed with him. It started small. "You're too emotional, Ava. You're imagining things. You always twist reality." At first, I believed him. I thought maybe something was wrong with me. But then things got worse. When I turned 21, I found out my dad had been moving money from my late mom's account into his own business, quietly, slowly, like no one would notice. I confronted him. I still remember that moment clearly. "You stole from Mom," I said, my voice shaking. He didn't even blink. "Ava," he sighed like I was embarrassing him, "you don't understand how finances work." I saw the transfers. He looked at me and smiled. Not a warm smile, a cold one. "That's not something you should be digging into." That's when I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was control. And I had just stepped outside it. A week later, everything changed. I came home to find the locks changed. My phone started blowing up with messages from relatives. "Ava, we're worried about you. Your dad told us you're not doing well. Why didn't you tell us you needed help?" I froze. Then I saw the post. My dad had told everyone, family, friends, even neighbors, that I was mentally unstable, that I had episodes, that I had to be sent away for treatment. And just like that, I disappeared from my own life. People stopped calling me. My aunt blocked me. Even my best friend texted, "I hope you get the help you need." I wanted to scream, but I didn't, because I knew something. My dad didn't just want me gone. He wanted a reason, a story that made him look like the victim, and me, the problem. So I stayed quiet. I let the lie spread because I was planning something he would never see coming. The first thing I learned after my father erased me was how fast people believe a clean story. So I stopped trying to defend myself. Instead, I started collecting proof. I moved into a small studio apartment on the edge of Cleveland, Ohio. It wasn't much, thin walls, flickering kitchen light, but it was quiet, safe, mine. For the first time, I could think clearly. Every night, I sat at a tiny table with my laptop and one question in my head. How do I prove the truth when everyone already believes the lie? At first, I tried reaching out to family again. "Please just talk to me," I texted my aunt. No reply. I called my cousin. Straight to voicemail. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about words anymore. I needed something official, something no one could ignore. So I did something my dad would never expect. I went to get evaluated. A real, licensed psychological evaluation. Not because I thought something was wrong with me, but because I knew what he was saying about me. If I was going to fight back, I needed facts, not emotions. The clinic was cold and quiet. White walls, soft ticking clock, the smell of disinfectant. The doctor, Dr. Harris, looked at me carefully. "What brings you here, Ava?" he asked. I took a breath. "My father is telling people I'm mentally unstable," I said. "I need the truth, documented." He studied me for a moment, then nodded. "All right," he said, "let's start from the beginning." The process took weeks. Interviews, questionnaires, observations. Some days were exhausting. Other days made me doubt myself. What if he's right? What if I really am the problem? But every time that thought crept in, I remembered his smile, that cold, confident smile when he knew no one would question him.
and that pushed me forward. While the evaluation was ongoing, I started digging into something else, his finances. It wasn't easy. He had always been careful, but not perfect. I reached out to someone I trusted, Marcus, an old college friend who now worked in accounting. We met at a quiet coffee shop. "I need your help," I told him, sliding a USB across the table. "And I need you to be honest with me." He plugged it into his laptop, scrolling through the files. Minutes passed. Then his expression changed. "Ava," he said slowly, "where did you get this?" "My mom's old records." He leaned back, running a hand through his hair. "This doesn't look right." My heart started racing. "Not right how?" "There are transfers here that don't match any legitimate expenses. If this is what I think it is, your dad's been moving money in a way he definitely shouldn't." I didn't feel surprised. I felt calm, because it confirmed what I already knew. "Can you document it?" I asked. He hesitated for a second, then nodded. "Yeah, but Ava, if you use this, things are going to get messy." I gave a small, steady smile. "They already are." Weeks later, the final piece arrived, a certified envelope from Dr. Harris. My hands were shaking as I opened it. I read every word carefully. Then I read it again. Clear, professional, final. There was nothing wrong with me. No instability, no condition, no episodes. Just one line that stood out more than anything. "Patient shows no signs of psychological disorder. Reports of instability appear to be externally imposed and unsupported by clinical evidence." I stared at that sentence for a long time. Then I slowly smiled, because now I didn't just have my truth, I had proof. Official, certified, untouchable. And my father? He had no idea I was coming back. Not to argue, not to explain, but to expose everything. The first time I stepped back into Columbus, Ohio, it felt like walking into a life that no longer belonged to me. Same streets, same houses, but I wasn't the same girl who had been pushed out. This time, I came prepared. I didn't go straight to my father. No, that would have been too easy. Instead, I went to the one place where his image mattered most, his office. He ran a small financial consulting firm downtown, clean glass building, his name on the door, reputation built on trust. That's what made this perfect. I walked in like I belonged there, because once I did. The receptionist looked up, confused. "Can I help you?" I gave a calm smile. "I'm here to see Daniel Reynolds." She hesitated. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," I said softly, "but he's going to want to see me." Before she could respond, his office door opened, and there he was, my father. For a split second, his face froze, just a flicker. Shock. Then it disappeared, replaced by that same calm expression. "Ava," he said, like I was a stranger, "you shouldn't be here." I tilted my head slightly. "That's interesting. You told everyone I couldn't be anywhere." The receptionist shifted uncomfortably. "Come inside," he said quickly. Of course he didn't want a scene. Not here, not where people could see. I stepped into his office. The door closed behind me. Silence. Then his voice dropped. "What are you doing?" he asked. "You're not well. You shouldn't be out like this." There it was, the script, the same lie he'd been feeding everyone. I slowly placed my bag on his desk. "Still telling that story?" I asked. "It's not a story," he snapped. "It's the truth." I nodded, like I was considering it. "Okay, then you won't mind if I share something too." I pulled out a copy of the evaluation and placed it in front of him. He didn't touch it, didn't even look at it. "I'm not interested in your delusions," he said coldly. I almost smiled, because that reaction told me everything. He was nervous. "Then maybe you'll be interested in this," I said, pulling out another folder. This one he looked at. His eyes moved quickly across the first page, then the second, and just like that, his composure cracked. "What is this?" he asked sharply. "You tell me," I replied. He stood up, voice rising slightly. "Where did you get these?" I stayed seated, calm, steady. "Does it matter?" "It does when you're making false accusations." I leaned forward just a little. "They're not false." Silence filled the room again, heavy this time, different. "You've been moving money," I continued quietly, "from Mom's account into places no one would notice." "That's business," he said quickly. "You don't understand how things work." I held his gaze. "Marcus does." That name hit him. I saw it. A small pause, a shift. "Everything's documented," I added. "Clean, organized, easy to understand." His jaw tightened. "You think anyone is going to believe you," he said. And there it was again, his confidence, his belief that he controlled the narrative, that I was still the unstable daughter. So I stood up slowly, and that's when I said it. "I'm not asking them to believe me." He frowned slightly. "What does that mean?" I picked up my bag. "It means," I said, walking toward the door, "they're going to see it themselves." His voice sharpened. "Ava, stop." I paused, but didn't turn around. "You spent months telling people I was the problem. You made sure no one would listen to me." I finally looked back at him. "But you forgot one thing." His eyes locked onto mine. "What?" I gave a small, controlled smile. "Proof doesn't need permission." Then I walked out, past the receptionist, past the people who once believed his version of me, and straight into the next step of my plan. Because this wasn't the revenge. This was just the beginning.
The courtroom is quieter than I expected. Not peaceful, just tense, like everyone is holding their breath, waiting for something to break. I sit at the front, my hands folded tightly in my lap. Across the room, my father looks exactly the same as always, calm, confident, untouchable. But I can see it now, the cracks. The judge adjusts her glasses. "We'll begin with the submitted documents." My father's lawyer stands first, smooth and practiced. "Your Honor, this is a simple case," he says. "Mr. Reynolds has been trying to protect his daughter, who has shown clear signs of instability." I stop listening, because I've heard this story before, over and over again. It's almost comforting how predictable it is. Then, "Ava Reynolds," the judge says, looking at me. "You've submitted additional documentation?" I stand up slowly. "Yes, Your Honor." My voice is steady, but my heart is racing. This is it. The moment everything changes. I walk forward and hand over the certified envelope, the same one I held weeks ago in my tiny apartment, the one that carries the truth. The judge opens it carefully, scanning the pages. The room goes silent. Even my father doesn't move. Seconds feel like minutes. Then finally, she looks up. "This report," she says, "is from a licensed specialist?" "Yes, Your Honor." "And it states there are no clinical findings supporting claims of instability?" "Yes." A quiet ripple moves through the room. I don't look at anyone, not yet. My father's lawyer quickly steps in. "Your Honor, we question the validity." "There's more," I say, before he can finish. The judge raises a hand. "Go on." I take a breath. Then I place the second folder on the table. "This is a financial review," I explain, "documented by a certified accountant." Now I look at my father, really look at him. For the first time in my life, he looks unsure. The judge flips through the pages. Her expression shifts, slowly, noticeably. "These transactions," she says, her voice more serious now. "Mr. Reynolds, can you explain them?" My father stands. Of course he does. He always has an explanation. "That's internal business activity," he says smoothly. "Nothing inappropriate." The judge's eyes stay on the documents. "These funds originate from an account under your late wife's name and move into personal and external accounts without clear documentation." Silence. Heavy, uncomfortable silence. My father opens his mouth, then closes it. And just like that, the room changes. The story changes. I feel it. The shift. For months, I was the girl no one believed, the one with the problem. Now, they're looking at him, questioning him, doubting him. The judge sets the papers down. "This court will require further investigation into these findings," she says firmly.
As for the claims regarding Ms. Reynolds' mental state, there is insufficient evidence to support them. Insufficient. One word, but it destroys everything he built. I let out a slow breath I didn't realize I was holding. My father doesn't look at me. Not once. Because he can't. Because for the first time, he's the one being seen. The hearing ends shortly after. People start to leave, whispering quietly. I stay where I am for a moment, just sitting there, letting it sink in. Then I stand up, and as I walk past him, he finally speaks. Ava. I stop. Not because I have to, because I want to. I turn slightly. He looks older somehow, smaller. This isn't over, he says quietly. I study him for a second. Then I give a small, calm smile. I know, I reply, but neither am I. And this time, I walk away without looking back. What happened after? The investigation went deeper. More questions, more documents, more truth. Some people reached out to me. Apologies, messages, regret. I didn't respond to most of them. Not because I was angry, but because I had finally learned something important. Not everyone deserves access to your story. As for my father, his perfect image never fully recovered. And me? I didn't need revenge anymore, because the truth did something better. It gave me my life back.